Welcome to our house.
Your house, not my house.
Well, mine and Kimmy's house.
Yours and Kimmy's house.
Yeah. You can tell that you're in an Asian house. One of the things is that our feet show.
Your foot definitely shows. Should I show my feet?
You'd never heard of WikiFeet until today.
Till you brought it up.
Yeah.
Yes. Very concerning for me.
Can you explain from what you're understanding now, like what is WikiFeet?
So,
for those who don't know from the audience.
From what you pulled up, it's just a collection of photos of feet in real life time or
so it's wiki like Wikipedia feet. And so it's sort of a crowdsourced sort of thing. I didn't know about it until I started getting, a little bit famous on social media, and someone had mentioned it to me. It's a database that is, again, crowdsourced of publicly available photos that show people's feet.
Hey, I'll get on. I'm going to show my feet now again.
You are?
No free feet pic.
It's a video.
No free feet videos. I mean, you could take one sock off. That's so kinky.
Do we get paid
for what?
To be on WikiFeet?
I don't think so, because no. I mean, you didn't even know about it. Have you seen a check from WikiFeet?
No, but maybe I should ask. I should get my manager to send them an invoice or something for using it.
Well, welcome everyone to episode 6 of the Dad and Daddy podcast. I'm Nick Cho.
And I'm Kevin Kreider.
And again, we're at our house, at Kimmy and my house, at an undisclosed location in the North County of San Diego.
It's beautiful.
You have to take the long drive down. Usually we drive up to LA.
It's beautiful, though. Really love the drive.
It's really pretty down
Couldn't
here.
do it every time, though.
No, it's really pretty down here. So welcome. We're sitting on our big white couch.
It's very fluffy.
This is the most expensive thing I've ever bought that wasn't a car.
or a Pokemon
house.
card?
No, this is much more than a Pokemon card. When I first moved to LA, I was like, I want a couch where it's just like, that is the kind where you can't sit up straight on it. And a really good friend of mine, Krista, was like, cloud couch. And I was like, what is a cloud couch? And so, Restoration Hardware has this couch. And so,
Well done. I can't sit up straight.
Yeah. I mean, behind the cameras today is our TV. You can see how we just veg out on this thing.
Totally.
For it's not even hours, it's for days.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been watching Pursuit of Jade. It's a Chinese drama. Kimmy has gotten really into watching Chinese dramas now.
Wow.
Yeah. How many you can't really say how many because you've been watching them since you were a kid, you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But Pursuit of Jade is the Game of Thrones epic of Chinese dramas, I think, of the past year. It's the thing that everyone's kind of going crazy, and it's creating a bit of a boom, a trend.
So there's a lot of incest going on.
What?
Well, that's Game of Thrones.
Oh.
No, just the kind of fantasy historical aspect, political.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. The actors, we're talking about casting and acting and stuff like that last podcast, and it's wild to think about how when it comes to the pool of actors that they have to choose from in China, it's 3-4 times the number of people than here.
Right.
So in a way, it's it's not so much that they're that much more beautiful, but they're that much more sort of perfectly cast for certain archetypes and faces and whatever. The main actress on this is she looks just someone created her in AI. She's so perfect.
Well, they have a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
And also, too, they don't have to worry about ethnic specific casting over
a little
there.
bit, but not that much.
Not
as much as here.
Yeah. What do they worry about ethnic specific? Maybe from a certain area?
I think, that's kind of a generalization, because if you asked a person from China, they would say people look different from the different regions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but at the same time, there probably a little bit more flexibility of your actors pretending to be in that. They're not looking for autobiographical, you have to be from that area, right?
Sure.
Yeah. It's a little bit less. I mean, this is part of the paradox of America is that being as diverse as we are, it should be our greatest strength. And in many ways it is. But right now, with the political climate and stuff, like that's in many ways, like that's one of the big topic things that are sort of like existential sort of crises in America is like America is that. And there's a lot of people who kind of don't like it. Or, you know, I mean, we talked about it, some of these things last time. But I wanted to call back to, was it our first episode, right? Talking about infidelity and different jobs.
You want to bring that up?
What do you remember about that topic?
Jobs. Oh, infidelity. Yes, I remember the Philippines. Or not the Philippines, nurses. Sorry, I was just stereotypical, like, thought going through, which is like most nurses are Filipino.
Well, not most, but a lot.
A lot.
There are a lot of Filipino nurses.
And they're wonderful.
Yeah.
And but they historically or stereotypically do a lot of cheating in the workplace.
Yeah. And so there's been a lot of online chatter. There have been a lot of people in our comments talking about it. So here's what happened. I was playing golf by myself on a weekday. And on the very last hole, I caught up to the guy in front of me, who was playing in front of me, ahead of me. He was a solo, and we were just chatting as we were waiting for the people ahead of him. And he was like, "Do you want to just play together for this last hole?" And I was like, "Sure." And so I was just making small talk. And you know, what do you do? You know, what do you do for work that you get to play golf on a weekday?
Nurse.
You know, he said he was a nurse. Him and his wife are both nurses. So I said, "Can I ask you a question?" So I asked him about what we talked about that, like, we heard or we read that statistically nurses are up there in terms of the highest sort of like amounts of infidelity. Do you know what he told me? Number one,
That's
he told
how he
me,
met his wife?
No. This was so interesting. Number one, he confirmed it.
Really?
He said not just that there's infidelity. And I asked him why is this true? He said, in my experience, it's that nursing is such a specific lifestyle that to have a nurse who's your spouse is really seen as like a really wonderful lifestyle thing. So everyone's trying to steal each other's spouses.
Oh,
that's what he said.
Because they're so wonderful.
That it's like, it's just seen as really good.
Wow.
Like, because to have that in common for some reason is like, I don't understand. Again, if you're a nurse in the audience, like, we want to know more about this. This is his anecdotal sort of like report. Okay, this is hearsay. This is his take.
Yeah.
But he was like, absolutely, this has been his experience. He's seen it over and over again. He said, like, this guy. He was like about 6'1", kind of chubby, like very like average looking white dude. He said that he gets hit on so much at work.
Wow, by other nurses.
Yeah, he said that, like, I said, are you sure? Like, it's not just, you know, we heard this, we heard that. He was like, I don't know about that. What I know is, like, people are trying to steal each other's spouse.
So I don't think I should try to get with a nurse anymore.
Yeah, Canadian or otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds awful. Like, I don't want to have to worry about some average looking nurse in there.
Or you can think of it as like, are you confident enough in yourself and in your relationship to where it doesn't like it doesn't matter
if they cheat on you?
No,
or?
that it's like if your partner is either going to cheat on you or leave you for someone else, it's like you'll be okay. That's just how these things go. The idea that like, oh, like I need to sort of look out for this and worry about it in advance maybe is not a sign of confidence and security.
No, I can see that. I think this is on topic, but I also heard that dentistry is very similar to nursing in that.
Is it?
Yeah. So
Oh.
I was...
You have a story?
Yeah, I was having dinner with a woman who owns a bunch of dentistries, like practices.
Dentist offices.
Dentist
Practices.
That's her career. She's also a dentist. And she was coming to me because she was like, you know, I think there's a reality show around this. And she was sharing with me. She's like, yeah, there's a lot of sleeping around at these conventions and in the offices.
Well, that's conventions too.
Well, offices too. So it's like, I was thinking to myself, I was like, wow, that sounds like Philippines. No, why do I keep saying Philippines? That sounds like nurses. Why do I keep saying Philippines? The Philippines are gonna hate me. They're like, yeah. So it sounds very similar.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Can I tell you my dentist story?
Sure. They gassed you and you fell asleep and you woke up feeling great.
My first divorce was not caused by a dentist, but was definitely like precipitated, kind of triggered by a dentist.
But like a dentist visit or somebody who was a dentist?
So this is one of those situations where how much I should get into stuff is like a question, but I feel like at this point it's like it's kind of fine. And worst case scenario, you can edit it out. Without getting into the gory details of my first divorce, and it inevitably it'll come up at some point in one of the podcasts. But my first wife, we were having some problems, and we had this giant fight. And I said, like, I can't do this anymore. We need to go to couples counseling, marriage counseling, and not just counseling for counseling's sake, but we need to figure out if we can actually make this work or not.
Yeah.
And so we started going to counseling. And during that time, in the middle of the night, like at 2 and 3 in the morning, I would hear her on the phone. And, you know, we were sort of like doing the thing in the house where I was sleeping in a different bedroom in the guest room. So I would hear her in the other room, like on the phone at like 2 and 3 in the morning. I assumed that she was talking to her sister in Seattle. We were on the East Coast, and so like it made sense that she would be talking to someone on the West Coast. It was just my life sort of logic. And later I found out, because I was just looking at the phone bill and I saw those phone calls were going to a local number. And when I Googled it, I remember, this is many years ago, I figured out that it was this dentist that had, that she had gone to once. And
Sorry, I don't know why I think that's funny.
I talked to her, I confronted her about it later. And at first she denied it. And then later she admitted, and she said, yeah, it didn't end up becoming anything. But to me, she was not somebody who had guy friends, at least not during our like 14-year relationship. So I think that, you know, my theory, and I think I'm right about this, is that like they did kind of have like a phone relationship, and that it was for the first time it made her realize that she had other options. And so after the counseling sessions, she actually was the one who asked for a divorce. And I was kind of blindsided because I was the one who was like, this is not working.
So it's kind of like her first sign of emotionally at least checking out.
I don't know about that. I can't speak to that part of it. What I do feel like I can say fairly confidently was, and I think that other people might be able to relate or have seen things like this, where it was the first sort of glimpse for her. Like it was kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel. Like you see this sort of little kind of glimmer of light, like, oh, there's actually other options that I never really thought about.
And then you realize you've always had those options. You just choose not to pursue those options.
In theory, right? It's like
it's my first theory that you agreed with in a long time.
Is that right?
Quite happy.
I agree with a lot of things you say.
No, but my theory.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a good theory.
Oh,
I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's true, right? It's like we have all these options, all the freedom to do whatever. Very often when people talk about freedom or choices or not having them, it's not that you don't have the choice. You do. It's just that there are going to be consequences, and you maybe don't want the consequences.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's very John Wick of you. Very. I felt it. Just chills in my bones.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
What do we want to talk about today, Kimmy?
I think we want to talk about male attraction, male characters in book, film, TV that you grew up seeing and that you admired. There's a study that shows that, reading fiction helps to develop empathy in boys. So we can cover some of these topics in the discussion.
Male attraction?
Yeah.
Meaning what?
Like, do you find other men, attractive? Like, are there inequalities, like whether it's physical or, behavior or style or anything like that? And, would you ever say that to them?
Interesting. So this is sort of under the context of two straight guys, right? Two heterosexual guys. Women are generally pretty open about talking about, oh, that woman is really attractive.
Right. Or they say it to the woman. They compliment all the time. I hear it.
Hyping up.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
quite jealous of that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because guys don't get that as much.
Mm-mm.
It's not as socially acceptable or common, at least.
No.
Why do we think that is?
I think it's like men are so competitive with each other.
That men wouldn't hype each other up.
Wouldn't hype each other up.
Unless we're boys.
I've always been complimented on my arms from guys.
Let's see.
So if guys ever compliment
Let's see it for the
me,
video. Those are some. It's
pretty good, right?
Pretty good
it's
arms.
pretty good.
I mean, it's making me feel a little bit like a little small over here. Yeah.
No, I always get complimented on my arms. And for some reason, that seems to be the acceptable thing to compliment, even though I think I have good style. Look at my daddy clothes. I mean, I got John V on. Like, it's just.
You do wear pretty tight pants.
I've been told now this style's not tight anymore, right?
That it's not as sort of trendy.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
loose,
How do you
straight
feel
fit.
about your tight pants? It's very like what era is that, Kimmy? Like early 2000s?
2010s, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's what you're comfortable in?
Yeah, I'm still good with tight pants. I still like them.
Would you ever venture out to try other silhouettes?
Well, silhouettes, what's that?
Well, like the cut.
Oh, the cuts. Okay, we call them silhouettes now.
Well, it's
one of the-
the
it's one of the
fit-
terms.
The fit, but
Oh, the
then
fit,
but then
the
it
fit.
creates a silhouette. So
Right.
then we just use the term silhouette. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So what am I? Am I not a silhouette?
No. We're talking about the pants.
Right, it creates a silhouette,
The cut of the pants, like a skinny jean,
right?
more like a flare, boot cut,
Oh, see-
wide leg.
To me, these aren't even skinny jeans. These are just like
They're pretty skinny.
they're just
like look how
tight.
like tight they are. I mean, it's kind of hard to see
Why-
on the
why-
video.
Why
Okay,
don't you stand up?
so this
and
is-
show?
Yeah, I want to stand up for a
This is-
second.
This is how men compliment each other. They touch their skinny jeans to touch their thighs.
Yeah.
We don't. We code it, right?
I mean, has
Nick, just
a
say it.
man never
You like
given
my-
you the compliment on your legs? I know women give you compliment on your legs
No,
a lot.
I wear
Nick.
jeans all the time, so I don't get compliments.
I get a lot of leg compliments.
You do get leg compliments?
Yeah. What did my friend April once was like? You did not skip leg day.
Really? You got
Yeah.
thick legs?
I mean, Koreans are sort of known for having, like, genetically. I don't know about other East Asians or Asians, but Koreans specifically, we're sort of known for stocky, thick legs. I think one of the earlier podcasts we talked about how, like, every time at the amusement park, I would do the thing where they guess your weight. People would always sort of underguess.
Oh yeah.
I'd always be heavier. And I always thought it was because, like, my legs carry a lot more weight,
Makes sense.
than you would think otherwise. But yeah, like, my calves are pretty beefy. Is that okay? Kimmy's nodding.
I was always conscious about my calves and my ankles.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, my dad still makes fun of me once in a while
Conscious meaning,
because I always thought they were skinny, but he would always tell me, he's like, they're not skinny, like, or they're too thin. You know, like I always think my ankles were too thin because I always liked the stocky calves, and mine are kind of small compared.
They
to mine.
are?
Yeah. So especially my ankles are a
okay,
little.
now we're taking stuff to the next level.
Ankles are a little skinny.
What's your shoe size?
10.5.
Oh, you're a little bit on the smaller side too. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Oh, we're gonna be on WikiFeet together
what are we
now.
gonna be like
Nick,
wiki
high five, my. We're gonna be on WikiFeet high fiving each other. It's gonna be great.
I don't know where your feet have been. I just touched feet with every other foot you've touched feet with.
Luckily, not many. So this is great.
Obviously, like the idea of like being attracted to anyone, or well, first of all, there's a difference, right? Being attracted to finding someone attractive, though for a lot of people, I think that, you know, especially guys, I think would be like, what's the difference? I think this is the interesting topic, which is like, it is different. It's like
Totally.
someone can look at somebody and say like, they're objectively attractive. I'm not attracted to them, right? It's like the idea, I mean, when we say attracted, I think it's easy to use the analogy of like literal magnetism.
Yeah.
It's like that thing over there is really magnetic. Am I being pulled toward it? No, because it's way over there, you know, but it's also really, you know, magnetic. It's like the same thing. It's like, do I feel a pull? Yes or no is a separate issue from there's someone who pulls,
Right.
you know, kind of thing.
Well, I was going to ask you too. Have you ever seen women that you know are attractive, but they're like not your type? You know what I mean? You wouldn't
absolutely.
like. I feel like that's kind of what men go through too sometimes with other men, right? They know they're attractive, but
But that's the thing, because of the way men are, they'll have to say like that no, she's ugly.
Oh, instead
Right?
of just being like,
Yeah,
just
like
because
why do you
it's
think
not-
she's hot?
right?
It makes me wonder, sort of, is there something behind that,
Yeah.
or like something to sort of unpack? It feels like a certain kind of denying reality, a certain kind of dysfunction
You mean
of
like
thinking.
to put them down to bring you up a little bit, or
I think that's part of it, is like feeling like, yeah, I mean, this happens even with like outside of people. It's like, oh, like, this isn't like good sushi. Like, I know what good sushi is. Like, people have a certain kind of snobby attitude about stuff. I think when we see that, the disconnect is that someone thinks that they're just expressing their judgment. But to the outsiders, it can look like, oh, you're trying to hype yourself up by, like you said, like talking down to something else, or like,
like putting something down to bring you up. Because I remember this back in college days, but if you did find something attractive on a guy, right? You wanted to say something, you always had to preface it first with, look, I'm not gay, but you have great arms. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why you had to do it back then.
It was a more homophobic time.
Yeah,
to be sure. Yeah, it was a different time. I feel like more and more it is more acceptable, I think, right? And more common to just compliment without having to necessarily do that little disclaimer.
When was the last time you complimented a guy?
Like a random person?
Random or yeah. Okay, let's start with random.
I don't think that that's something that I necessarily do, but I don't do that really to anyone. I think that that's actually not true. Where I have done that is sometimes with like t-shirts.
You're right. It's almost like men try to consciously come up with like a cool t-shirt for somebody to compliment,
I mean, I don't know. Do you wear things
sometimes
so that you're fishing for compliments?
Or something like a conversation starter of some sort.
Yeah.
Like I'll wear my old, Marvel t-shirts from the 80s or something.
Yeah.
And I know like people know what it is.
Yeah. I think the last time I did that, I bought like a WWF, like wrestling, and F specifically, like before they changed to
Before
WWE.
the E, yeah.
Like with Macho Man Randy Savage and like the Ultimate Warrior
Yeah.
on it. I don't know if it's like actual vintage from that era or if it's like some reprint, but I bought it off of eBay, and I remember thinking like, oh, this is going to be like one of those like, oh, that's kind of cool kind of things. Where it came up a lot was when I was a sneakerhead and I was really into sneakers. It's one of the things I loved about the sneaker community was that it was very like acceptable to sort of be like, oh, I see you with those like, Jordan 1s or like whatever.
So it's almost like women compliment beauty and things, but men compliment on objects, like things that they have. Or
what I thought was really interesting about the sneaker community was that like anything that men get into, there's a way that like masculinity creeps in, right? It's like an acceptable sort of man-to-man sort of way to conduct yourself in a certain culture, in a certain subculture or whatever. The thing that's funny about sneakerheads is like we're talking about fashion. And fashion usually, historically and stereotypically, is like a woman thing. So, it reminds me of like the chef world. Cooking is seen as sort of a feminine thing, unless you're a celebrity chef, unless you're cooking with fire or like something like that. There's like a masculine version of it. And men will very much sort of create, like in the Venn diagram, like they'll create a zone. This is like the man zone.
barbecuing.
And I feel like it is a sort of fear-driven thing. I feel like if you're going to be sort of brutally honest about it, that it's like, in this feminine zone, we're going to create this sort of man island, and then men, we're all going to agree that it's not gay or it's not girly or it's not feminine to talk about stuff in this way. Like, agreed? Agree, kind of thing. And I think that when you do the red pill and you sort of like open your eyes to it, not the manosphere red pill, but like the literal, like when you open your eyes to what's going on, it can look very sort of sad and like, oh, like why can't you just be honest and open about stuff? Like, why do you have to be so driven by like insecurity and fear? But that's, I don't think that's only a social construct. I think that's part of being a man, like a man's existence. It's not like being a man, like manliness, but it's part of like man culture. And I think it's actually like a little bit biologically based.
So if you were to compliment a man like me, what would you compliment me on?
What would I compliment you on?
Yeah.
Well, my eyes drawn to your hair right away.
Oh.
Your hair and how it's a little bit spiky makes me miss my like hair when I like. This is so funny to say this phrase. I don't know if I've said this phrase very much when I was your age.
You have never said that to me yet. Yeah.
Like my signature sort of hairstyle back in the day was very like spiky and kind of big. And my hair's still pretty good. I mean, for being 53 years old this year, to have like almost no gray, and like I'm having a little bit of thinning up here on the crown. My one of my hairstylists mentioned it first. I was like, what? And then my kids were like, yeah, it's a little thin up top. I'm like, you know, I'm not insecure about it, but it's just like, you know, why? Like, it's just part of aging. My hair is a little bit thinner. So that comes to mind.
It's funny too, because I used to hate my hair growing up.
Really?
And yeah, because it was so straight back then, or, you know, it wasn't considered cool to have really jet black hair.
White people's hair is very different.
And I wanted that when I was younger.
Yeah.
So, but now like you can perm it, right? Like a lot of
and then there's this
Koreans
phrase, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, do they know how to cut Asian hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's true. Actually, I had to recently just teach my latest barber to cut my hair.
You did?
Oh yeah, because it's very different.
Why don't you just go somewhere? You don't go somewhere in K-Town?
So this guy lives in my apartment, so he just comes right to my building, like my apartment. So it's so easy.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah. So I had to teach him.
Do
how
they bring all the stuff?
He brings all the stuff. Yeah.
See, like the idea of
easy.
getting a haircut at home immediately makes me think of being a kid. My mom would cut my hair like in the shower. And like when I up to a certain age, I would just be naked in the shower.
He's not in the shower with me.
Are you sure?
You're positive.
Well, you should try it sometime. It's an easier cleanup situation.
I'll tell him that. I'll report back next week.
Complimenting you. I mean, I just think you're a beautiful person.
Oh, thanks, Nick.
You know, there's this thing that comes up when you watch K-dramas a lot, or just in Korean culture. There's this word "ippa" or "yepa," which basically means like pretty. But in Korea, like men will say it to each other, not like you're pretty, but like your hair looks really pretty today, or like your outfit's really pretty.
So it's normal for Korean culture, Korean men to do this?
I mean, you could, yeah, but then it makes you wonder, like, why is pretty gendered at all? It makes no sense. You know, it's
right when they say pretty boy, right? Like,
yeah,
why can't it just be
or beautiful?
Right.
Like, why is that gendered? Like, anything or anyone can be beautiful, you know, or pretty in that way. Why is it gendered? You know, so many of these things, again, like I mentioned before, the idea of men sort of operating in fear being biologically based. I took it was one of my favorite college courses that I took was called human ethology. Do you know what ethology is? It's like the biological basis of like behavior.
Okay.
So the idea that like,
you mean like it's stuck in our biology? Like
that like things are sort of evolutionarily sort of driven.
Gotcha.
But do you think that maybe there's a possibility of like language as well too, whereas, you know, in, you know, other languages, they don't have like gender, you know what I mean?
Pronouns.
Oh, yeah,
Gender
in China,
pronouns,
right? There's no gender
so
pronoun,
then
right?
these words are
Oh,
not
no way.
assigned to like, because commonly their language is not, you know, gendered. So
I wonder that any linguists out there, what do you think of that? The idea that we have gendered pronouns and gendered sort of, what is that term? Like, you know how in French, right? Every word has a gender, right? Every noun. Like, do these things creep into the way that we talk about other stuff?
So it's a Western thing, right? It's a Western construct.
Maybe. But what I was getting at is like, there's this sort of biological basis of like men's fear, you know, like operating in fear, being concerned about getting attacked, safety, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the most or more unexplored conversations around sort of men and masculinity. Because I think that it falls into the category of things that like we should be aware of so that we can sort of see it and name it and then act accordingly. It doesn't mean that we have to succumb to it. I think a lot of times, you know, there's a cycle, like because we operate so often in fear, we are afraid to even talk about it, as opposed to like, let's talk about it and then we can deal with it. And that's dealing with things with courage.
Right.
But like,
yeah.
This idea that like, for instance, remember like the first episode or second episode, I think we talked about like how we sit, and the idea that like sitting like this, looking at each other in the eyes is in some ways considered more sort of like a woman, more feminine way to be, because women like to really engage with each other, like in a very sort of more deep, intimate, looking at each other sort of like way. Whereas very often, like there's this stereotype in relationships where it's like the guy is like running around kind of like avoiding, and the woman's like, come back here. Like, why do you keep like leaving? Like, I want to talk about this, kind of thing. And this is very men are from Mars, women are from Venus type of thinking. But like there's this idea that for men, the intensity of certain interactions triggers a fear response, like a fight or flight. It resembles too much something visceral inside, something very innate that is like a threat. Very often men are avoiding eye contact or avoiding like a direct confrontation with their partner because something subconscious is like, if I directly engage with them, things could get violent, literally, or just like, it's like a feeling, right? And so how many of the things that, we men do are ultimately rooted in this type of like fear response, this sort of threat assessment kind of thing. And it becomes, it's part of our psyche and our biology, and then it becomes externalized as part of our culture. Like this is how we act around each other. And then it becomes sort of like a cultural or like a social norm. Like we have an understanding, like guys know this is how you are. Like you don't, whatever, you don't talk to, if someone's obviously a couple, like it's not cool to go up to the woman and start talking to her in a flirtatious sort of way. That's seen as aggressive, for instance. Like, well, why? Well, it's just kind of like men know. You're supposed to know, kind of thing.
That's why when you're dancing and you want to cut in, you say, may I cut in? It seems like a very socially acceptable thing. I've actually never seen in movies, at least, like saying, may I cut in? The guy's like,
well, we don't do that.
No.
We don't do that kind of dance.
Well,
that was part of the sort of socialization back then, when it was like that type of dancing, waltzing or whatever, doing the twist or whatever.
So you never been at the club and said, "Oh, may I
I never been in a club, but you know what I would do first? I would compliment the guy first, and then say, "Your girl would be crazy to let me cut in, but may I cut in?"
Yeah,
I think that would work.
Yeah. But the whole like being afraid of seen as gay thing, again, it's like a fear thing.
Right.
But so it's come back full circle. It's like, yeah, I think you're a beautiful person. Like I would say to a woman, I'm happy to compliment your sort of physical things, but physical things. But what I'm more interested in is, and are the other parts of you that aren't like physical.
The essence.
Well, like your personality. You so well model, and I don't know who it's attributed to. There's this phrase like that, you should have strong opinions held loosely. Have a strong opinion, but be very open to reevaluate that. And I don't know if I've met anyone who embodies that more than you. Like Kimmy has really strong opinions held very strongly. Not loosely. I tend to have, I guess I'm a little bit strong opinions held loosely too, but I think you're actually like a little bit more than me,
Yeah, I think because I seek
curiosity.
Yeah, curiosity, but I also seek truth, but also too knowing that the truths, there's always many versions of it.
Sure.
And so I think I've seen too many points in my life where I've been wrong.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, the best thing to do is admit you're wrong and then change your viewpoint.
Yeah. Yes. What do you find is attractive about me?
I was going to get to that.
Okay.
I really was. See that?
What?
That.
The smiley?
When your joy.
Uh-huh.
I think your joy is really contagious.
Yeah?
Yeah. You have a really good light and energy to you.
But that's not a physical feature.
It's not a physical feature. But also, too, it is at the same time.
Yeah.
Because if I just got the essence of it, I'm also missing the face, too. When you smile and your face almost looks like a cute emoji. You know?
Oh,
Like when
like
he's
this?
right, doesn't he? Yeah. No. But your eyes aren't that like doesn't
My eyes
doesn't
are
go
more
up.
Asian than
Yeah. Your eyes are not perfectly round. Where we have almond shaped
Okay,
eyes. So.
then we'll-
Oh yeah, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like this with that. Yeah, it is. You look like this character.
Yeah.
This smiley. Yeah.
You want to know like something that's amazing about
This is you.
Kimmy that I noticed like early on in our relationship? She's one of the few people I've ever seen who has, like people talk about like a resting like bitch face.
Of
or
course,
resting
I
whatever.
have that.
Kimmy has a resting smiling face.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. So the corners of her mouth at rest like turn up a little bit. And I've seen that like it's actually something that people will get plastic surgery for now in Asia is to get that, but Kimmy has it naturally.
Is that exhausting?
No.
It's at rest, literally at rest.
Wow.
Yeah,
No, mine goes down a little bit.
a little bit.
Yeah. It's going down over time though, which I don't like,
Yeah,
Yeah, is that your resting face, right?
yeah.
Wow, you look
Yeah.
happy.
Well, just like the corners of her mouth just turn up.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
I want that.
I could be like so moody and you wouldn't know it.
Wouldn't know it.
I mean, when you're upset, they do. They can turn down.
Yeah.
I've seen it before, but on the most of the time, a little bit turned up.
That's cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
I think men should compliment each other more.
yeah.
And it doesn't, like what we just did, it doesn't have to be physical.
Well, we're talking about gender, but it's also sort of racial too. Like I found that Black Americans are really very free flowing with compliments.
To other men?
Just in general
Just-
to everyone. Black Americans are just socialized to, and I'm not entirely sure why. There's just more free flowing comments, sort of small talk. This came up a lot during the World Cup soccer tournament that happened recently, that a lot of the international visitors were talking about a lot of their observations about American culture. And one of those things that's very American is like small talk. People have said that the origin of American small talk has a lot to do with violence, and that you know how people say like a handshake is about like my hand isn't holding a weapon.
Right.
So similarly, like small talk is supposed to be a certain type of like I'm a safe person, kind of thing.
Okay.
Because other cultures don't do small talk among strangers. It's seen as very unusual. You just think about something that would be weird if you saw somebody do in public. It's like that. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you talking to me right now? It's just not something that people do. It's interesting to me that like Black Americans have take it to the next level, and it's a certain free flowing. At least in the sort of places that I live and have been, like in cities and stuff. Like maybe in rural parts of the country. Where it's mostly just white people, maybe.
Yeah.
I think people there will sometimes. It's a different kind of small talk. I also know, like for instance, the whole concept of like street, like catcalling, in the Black community is different.
It's like more acceptable or something.
It's acceptable. I think as a generalization, it seems to be more accepted. I've seen where like. When Black men will compliment a woman on like a stranger walking by on their looks, that rather than what like a white person or an Asian woman might do and just kind of ignore them or respond with some kind of negative comment, that if they're not really feeling it, they'll just go thank you like very dryly and flat, and they just keep going, as opposed to like, kind of like flirt back. Yeah. And obviously, again, generalizations, but it's something that I feel confident saying like it's just, more common and more accepted.
No.
Yeah. There's a related topic to this, talking about the idea of like when you're attracted to someone versus find them attractive, right? It's like, we talked about this as being a very gendered thing also, that women can look at a man and say like, oh, he's really attractive. Are you attracted to him? No.
Right.
Whereas for men, those things tend to be one and the same. If you say someone's attractive, then you're saying you're attracted to them most of the time.
And it has to be physical attraction as well.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily, but in either way. Yeah, why would that be?
No.
I wonder.
Yeah, I think it's kind of what you just said. It's like people just don't question it, but now I think people are starting to question that, like us.
Yeah, I think that questioning everything is always good and healthy.
Yeah,
I think that there's this weird sort of paradox of America is that in many ways it's like the ultimate science experiment of like human history.
yeah,
And it's within that experiment, there's so much, maybe because of the experiment, there's so much more like a conservative kind of pushback. Like, I don't want to be an experiment,
okay.
kind of thing.
Right.
In many ways, that's like the ultimate, maybe one of the most ultimate struggles that's happening right now in America is the tension that we talked about, like diversity and stuff before. But in many ways, it's that like America is this grand experiment. We call it like the American experiment. I think Obama talked about it a lot.
I think it's a great title.
But for a lot of folks, they're like, but that's not what I want it to be. I don't want to live an experiment.
But I think that just shows the experiment is working because when you look at it from history, because I watched the Netflix documentary, The American Experiment, it was revolutionary because it was so oppressive and it was like so much violence and everything.
Yeah.
They tried something and we got it. And I think we just showed we still have it really good. And I think that's what it is. It's like, I still think we have it really good.
And it's
And we
also
wanna keep it.
simultaneously really terrible. Like both those things are true at the same time,
Yeah. So maybe we should start the new American experiment of men complimenting each other. This is what I got from this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that it's going to solve everything by itself, but it does feel like one of the many things that guys can do. But I mean, it's a part of like the whole thing of like sociology, right? Or not sociology, more socialization. I don't know. I feel like we do this a lot where we'll say like, well, people should do this. I tend to think about stuff more from the perspective of like, how do we get more people to do certain things? And the answer, part of it is like role modeling and part of it is like talking about stuff the way that we're talking about it right now.
Yeah.
But this is where having a platform, like a social media platform, like these things can be really powerful. I used to have this theory that like for parents, every so often, like your kid's having a really hard time, like, and you're out in public. And I used to think like, it'd be so interesting if like Oprah or somebody would be like, okay, parents, like we're going to do this. We're going to have this like thing where, have you ever seen those videos where people will do like a little thing like behind their back, and like the whole idea is that if you see somebody do that, then it means that they need help or they're being abducted or something like that.
Yeah.
Like there are these things like that.
Yeah.
Like, what if there was a way for parents to kind of sort of almost ask for help? Can you help me by kind of distracting my kid with a little bit of a certain kind of attention? Like if you saw a parent do that, you'd come over and just, again, like you can compliment, oh, look, hey, what's your name? Or like, hey, like, that's a pretty cool, whatever you got going there. Because inevitably, like the kid would snap out of their, whatever is happening, their meltdown, like when they're being talked to in that way. And I always used to think like that would be such an interesting thing for someone to try to get a campaign like that going. Like here's everyone who's seeing this, just know like if someone does a certain thing, and you're out in public, it means they just need you to sort of distract their kid, get their attention in some way to kind of help the meltdown sort of like stop.
So that signal would be for
other people, anyone who saw it, for like a parent to sort of like be like, can you help me distract my kid? Like something very simple like that, because otherwise, like, how do you get something like that to happen? Like, when COVID was happening, I was thinking like, God, if this would have happened in the 80s, what would have happened if there was a global pandemic in the 80s? There would have been an hour or 2 hour television special that the entire country would have had to watch on the 4 or 5 networks that existed. NBC, ABC, like CBS, PBS. That was all there really was. And then there was like independent sort of local stations back in the early 80s. Before cable and stuff. Like the entire country would have watched the show about how to sort of navigate what's going on.
Right.
And it was amazing to me that during this age, when it happened, COVID, and we're in the age of like unprecedented information, that we were unable to come together and all sort of like learn something together. Instead, it was like just a shit show.
Right.
So anyway, that's
yeah.
a bit of a tangent, but the point being like, yeah, how do we get people to change their behavior? It does start with just like individuals thinking about it, talking about it.
Also, too, I think we can look at what AA also says. It's attraction, not promotion. So it's like be them. I think that's why it was a good start, like complimenting each other.
Yeah.
So people can see it.
Yeah.
And like we're still the same.
Yeah.
Like, there it is. Love it. There, I love that.
What about yours?
I mean, I got a pretty good one too, but
You have a great one.
That's a great one. That's my compliment to you.
Yeah.
Find your own.
I've had people tell me that that my laugh was a certain kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Thanks for coming over.
Thanks for having me over.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again from here.
Yeah. This is comfy. I like it.
We'll pull back the curtain a little bit. We're gonna go change clothes and pretend that it's a different day.
Yeah.
And then we'll shoot another one from this spot. I think that like changing clothes, it's nice to sort of refresh a little bit.
So I am gonna have
It's
to borrow.
more for us than for you.
Not gonna lie, I'm gonna have to borrow a t-shirt though. Because
Yeah?
I brought a white t-shirt, so I don't want to look like the couch.
I mean, right now it looks like you're just a torso.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's gonna
And
be
like
floating.
your legs are just gone.
I'm gonna be floating head in the next one if you don't give me a shirt.
Okay, well, tune in for the next episode of the Dad and Daddy Show to find out what of my articles of clothing Kevin is gonna. Do I get to pick, or do you?
Look,
I guess it might have been too much work to like move everything upstairs, but that would have been a change of scenery.
Would be a change of scenery, or I could just do this next one shirtless, so I don't look like the couch.
Good God! I don't know if the internet.
Then you'll be complimenting me more than my personality.
Can I pick the shirt that you wear?
You can pick the shirt.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. So tune in
Only
next
if
time
I
to find
can
out
pick the shirt that you wear.
from my clothes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, great. Deal.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Find out what we pick.
On behalf of the most wonderful person that's ever existed in all humanity,
You're welcome.
super producer
Kimmy
Chan, and myself, I'm Nick Joe.
And I'm Kevin Kreider.
All right. See you next time.